And good evening, I'm Rick Dancer. Welcome to Get Real with Rick Dancer. We're a little early tonight. This is a special edition of our show because we've got a storm coming on, a pretty big storm as it's predicted to be. And so I called up my friend Brian Miskimins. He's a former weatherman in Portland, Oregon. He now lives in Montana. Asked him if he could tell us what's going on with maps and all that for Oregon and Washington and Montana and Idaho, what we can expect. He said, sure thing. So he's coming on. Our show is sponsored really quickly. Chris Dental Family Dentistry, where your civil liberties are what matters. Dr. Bratland loves people who believe in freedom of speech, but he'll take any clients and they're always available for your needs. Great guy. Also, Fairway Independent Mortgage, Greg Hinkle. There's his phone number, 406-389-4441. Right in Helena, but he can deal with people. When you move from Oregon and Washington to another state, there's some rules you don't know about that you need to know about. He can help you with that, especially if you're coming to Montana. And Montana Oral Surgery and Dental Implant Center was just there interviewing one of the doctors today. And oh man, did we have fun. Cool people, wonderful lady. You're going to really like her. And our last sponsor for the night, New Leaf Hyperbarics and Wellness Center, 541-636-3278. Matt McCarl, he'll get you in for an appointment if you're looking for something. Okay, so let's get to the weather. It is expected to drop about 5 to 8 inches, maybe some places in Montana, 12 inches, especially in the higher mountains. Where I live, it's expected to have 5 to 8 inches. It's going to get super cold. Oregon, you're going to get hammered with rain. So here to explain what all that is, because I'm not a weather guy, even though some people always ask me, are you the weatherman? No, I was never a weatherman, but Brian is, was, and can be. So here's Brian Miskimins. Here he goes. Brian, take it away.
Rick, and here we are. You know, it's hard to believe we're only October 23rd, and we're talking about winter weather. Of course, 3 years ago, for people here in Montana, you remember it, 3 years ago, October, we saw a blast very similar to this one, but it's a repeat 3 years later. Now, what the interesting thing to note about 3 years ago was that we had that blast in late October of winter weather, and then the rest of the winter really wasn't that bad. It was actually relatively mild, all things considered. So with this early season blast, will this be a repeat? In other words, we get this one blast and then maybe by early November we're done for a while? Well, we'll have to wait and see. Either way, I want to switch around and go to the maps. Take a look at these maps. And you can see, so this is one of the maps I use, weathercharts.com. It's a great website. Highly encourage you to use it if you're into reading weather maps. But I'm just going to walk us through time. I'm going to pause this as we get into Tuesday. Now watch what happens here as we go. This is now actually technically tomorrow morning, right about 5 a.m. There's the first leading edge of some colder air and snow starting to spill over the Canadian border and move south. Now, I'm going to move this along a little bit further. And this is now about 7 to 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. Here comes the next round, reinforcing cold air as well as moisture pouring over the border. This is just one particular model I use. However, it kind of gives you the idea, and for the most part, they're all pretty much showing the same thing. Notice over towards Bozeman, Billings, up towards Great Falls, some patchy snow showers and rain showers at this point, but beginning to see that cold air really start to pour out of the north. Of course, everybody east of the divide where you're at, Rick, you're going to see more of the effects of the cold air and snow. West of the divide where I'm at, it's going to take a little bit longer for us to get this cold air and snow, at least in the Mission and Missoula and Bitterroot valleys. But I'm going to continue to advance this through time. Now, notice another thing that happens. For those of you in Oregon and Washington, you're getting hit by a soaker of a system late tomorrow. But watch what happens. It starts to get tied up in this other branch of the jet stream. And we're going to advance this. And as we go into Tuesday night and Wednesday, watch what happens. All that long fetch of moisture out of Oregon and Washington starts to team up with all this cold air now pouring south out of Canada. And guess what happened? You got the perfect recipe for a snowstorm, especially southwest Montana, west central Montana, and points east. Northwest Montana, and really for the most part, we're going to get some. But the question is, how far north does that fetch of moisture come as we go into Wednesday night and Thursday? You can kind of see this map has a pretty solid line. Basically, I'd call that Flathead Lake points north and west of Flathead Lake, pretty much in the clear. Points south and east, definitely seeing some snow. You can see Missoula over towards Great Falls. Bozeman at this point missing out. We're going to advance this, continue to advance this. Now here we are into Wednesday morning. This is now at 5 a.m. A big old swath of moisture continuing to push in the Missoula Valley east, up the 90 juncture, over towards Great Falls. All this area is now covered in snow, and all this is now about 5 a.m. Wednesday. I'm going to advance this a little bit further, and this is now about 8 o'clock Wednesday morning, continuing to see snow. Now, it has actually now pushed a little bit further north than those previous maps, so now Kalispell in the snow game for Wednesday morning during the Wednesday morning commute east over towards Havre, Great Falls. And then I'm going to continue to advance this. Now watch what happens. We go into Wednesday afternoon. You start to see it shift more towards the southwest Montana. We mentioned Bozeman and Billings really getting hammered with this, of course, under the snow belt for quite a bit of the day on Wednesday. And here we are into now what is late Wednesday night, still snowing over Bozeman and Billings. Now into Thursday, still snowing Bozeman, Billings, off to the east. Finally, the faucet shuts off, if you will, as we go into Thursday morning. Now here comes the cold air, and the cold air sticks around all the way into the upcoming weekend. Hard to say exactly how long it sticks around, but at this point, at least through the remainder of this week into the beginning of the weekend, it's certainly beginning to look a whole lot colder for the second half of this week than what we've seen. So, Rick, is a look at what we're expecting up till now, and of course I'll continue to bring you updates as we get them. In the meantime, stay safe out there. I know the tire shop, I was at the tire shop today getting the studs put on, and at one point I think they said they had over a 2-hour wait, and he said, I'm thankful though, because it's not the first snowfall of the season. At least people are being a little more proactive. So that's you still have tomorrow really to get those snow tires on in the morning and early afternoon, and then after that you're going to probably be in a long line with a lot of other folks getting those snow tires on. With that, Rick, I'm going to send it back over to you.
All right, Brian, thank you. So again, coming in tomorrow night, it looks like, so I should be able to get my run in the morning. It's all about what I need, right? But yeah, so take it easy out there. Be careful. Hopefully I liked when Brian said, 3 years ago when it snowed like this in October, then we had a mild winter, because last year in Montana, we had a really hell of a winter. And I'm new. It was my first long winter here. And that snow stuck around a long time. So I'm hoping it's a little different this year. What do you guys experience? Tell me I would love to know what you're thinking, because you're the Montanans. And in Oregon, you're going to get hammered with water, but maybe you'll get some mountain snow. I did have a friend, Tom, at work or at the gym today, and he came up and he's so excited because Big Sky and all the little smaller ski hills in Montana are probably going to be opening pretty early, we hope. Should be a lot of snow out there. So again, want to thank our sponsors, Montana Oral Surgeons and Implant Center right there in Helena, Great Falls, Butte, and also Bozeman. And Fairway Independent Mortgage, Greg Hinkle and his staff doing their thing to make lending a little easier here in Montana, and for those of you in Oregon, Washington, to get you out if you want. Also, Chris Dental Family Dentistry back in Oregon. Your civil liberties are his concern, as well as your dental health. And what we're learning about dental health is it affects all of our other healthy parts of our body. So you really need to be taking care of that. And also New Leaf Hyperbarics and Wellness Center. Matt McCarl, if you've never done hyperbarics or light therapy, you're missing out. You need to go try it. All right, special edition of Get Real with Rick Dancer tonight. We don't usually do a Monday night show, but I thought this would be good. And tomorrow, Brian will be back to kind of update people. I know, look what my hair is doing. Isn't that crazy? And then we're also going to do a freestyle show where you guys can ask questions, talk to me if you want to send questions ahead of time. And then we have another interview later this week with a mom whose daughter was not allowed to be on a certain floor at an Oregon State University dormitory because of the color of her skin. Wonder what that's all about. I guess we'll find out. That's Thursday night. All right, guys, share this on your page so other people can see it and know what's going on. And if you are in the need for any of the services that our clients offer, please take them up on that. I'm Rick Dancer. Have a good night. We will see you tomorrow.